Joining us is House Budget Chair Jodey Arrington. Welcome, Mr. Chairman. It is not your fault. It is not the fault of a single Republican House or Senate member, but it is hard to imagine hungry children and unpaid workers.
No, and you would think Democrats would break with the political pressure from their traditional constituencies like labor unions, like anti-hunger groups, when you have the CNNs and the likes of left-leaning news organizations calling out the Democrats. But they continue to hold fast, sadly, to the notion that the people's suffering is their political gain. As Chuck Schumer said, and I'm sure you've reported, that he believes their party is winning this political game every day the government is shut down. And sadly, we all know the poor and vulnerable families who depend on services like SNAP, which we've already walked off of that cliff, and we will soon run out of money to pay our women and men in the armed services so they can feed their families. So it's not getting any better, it's getting worse. And I think the Democrats have way over miscalculated this politically. But again, they think it's an advantage to them for the midterms to placate the left and continue to pander to them. I think they're going to be sadly mistaken.
All right, Chairman, just so everyone watching is clear, these were the spending levels Democrats once embraced not so long ago. I mean, what they're voting against is what they once championed.
Yes, that's correct. They have championed these policies and this funding level multiple times in a vote for the discretionary budget over the last year or so. But never has any party collectively opposed a clean CR in the budget process. 44 years Chuck Schumer has been a member of Congress, and he has never opposed a clean CR. So there's no rationale except that of politics. And yes, they've counterproposed $1.5 trillion, which is the largest spending package ever, save and except COVID. And yes, their counterproposal includes funding illegals, health care, and returning to welfare without work. But I think a much more political motive is buried in all that, and it's to obstruct and resist President Trump. That's what Senator Gallego said when he was asked, why now, when Democrats have never taken this tack? He said, Donald Trump. This is about resisting this duly elected president and the agenda that the American people, the mandate that the American people overwhelmingly gave him, along with unified Republican leadership. That's what it boils down to.
All right, a prominent House Democrat said this was a leverage point for her. Just to be clear, you mentioned a clean CR. That means you're not using this process as a leverage point. You're not trying to gain some policy gain that you otherwise could not get. This is literally a clean CR, a continuation of the status quo that they all supported, but now they find themselves just not able to do so.
Yeah, Trey, let's juxtapose with what's happening now with what happened when we had a new speaker in the last funding cycle. There was tremendous pressure on Speaker Johnson and the leadership of Republicans in the House to shut the government down and use it as leverage against what was happening at the border to change the dynamic of the invasion of our country. But Mike Johnson and our leadership resisted, and they said, look, we're not going to hold the whole entire United States and the people's government hostage. We're going to negotiate what we can, and then we're going to take our case and lay out the facts to the American people, trust their judgment. And when we did, we changed course. The American people gave us unified Republican leadership, and now we are on a whole different path as a result. But that's because we had the facts on our side. The Democrats, there is no merit to their case. They are on the wrong side of these 80-20 issues down the line, from the border chaos to crime to boys competing with girls, and now this, funding illegals and extending a COVID-era fraud-ridden program that is lining the pockets of big insurance companies and is paying for people making hundreds of thousands of dollars, giving them federal subsidies on the backs of hardworking middle class. That's their negotiating point. 80-20. They're on the wrong side of these political issues. They're going to be on the wrong side of election history come midterms if they don't change course, and change course soon.
Yeah, Chairman, there's not much leverage when you can't win elections, and they didn't win them last time, and this is not the formula for winning them in the future. Jodey Arrington from the great state of Texas, Chairman of the House Budget Committee, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Thank you, Chairman. God bless.